coming up on American Medicine Today. Returning guests Sam and Kevin Sorbo join us to discuss the current state of education in our country, highlighting reasons they've chosen to homeschool their kids from their latest book, The Playbook for Home Learning. Then Fred began experiencing lower back pain that worsened over time. Eventually, he could no longer walk until he finally reached out to the Bonati Spine Institute. Now, nearly a decade later, he's still enjoying life, completely pain-free. Finally, Dr. Bonati discusses recent news surrounding the first family. The Biden family corruption has been exposed, but will anyone be held accountable? Find out coming up on American Medicine Today.
Featuring cutting-edge science and medical innovation, touching personal stories of recovery from pain, along with political, social, and healthcare issues plaguing our nation. This is American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonati Spine Institute and Alfred Bonati, MD.
Welcome to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bonati alongside Ethan Youker and world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati. So with American education system increasingly teaching our children critical race theory and leftist wokeism, many more conservative parents are choosing to homeschool, just like ourselves. Joining us now are returning guests and friends of the show, Kevin and Sam Sorbo, filmmakers, actors, authors of the Playbook for Home Learning, and founders of the Underground Education Academy. Welcome to the program.
Good to be here.
Certainly.
Jinx. And I know, Kimberly, this hits close to home with you.
It certainly does. We didn't like what was going on in the school we had our daughter in, so we decided to educate her at home, and she's thriving. So why don't we talk about the state of the education system and what made you and your husband, Kevin, want to homeschool?
Well, I got to be honest with you. It's all this lady right here. I'm the one who does the movies to fight back to the wokeism and cancel culture, and I do movies that are about good movies that have good messages.
What we want to encourage parents to do is to indoctrinate their children with the true doctrine. And part of that is obviously the culture. And that's why Kevin and I do the films that we do also, is because the culture indoctrinates us as well. And so we like to work on films that have true doctrine in them, right? That express our values and our beliefs.
Well, Walt Disney said back in the 1950s, movies and television will influence our youth.
Yes.
Well, gee, 60 years later, what do you think's been going on out there? So
Correct.
We're doing the movies that Hollywood won't do anymore, movies with hope and love and redemption and faith and laughter and things like that.
You know, the indoctrination in our schools is unbelievable. They're having drag queen shows. They're talking about how you can be whatever gender or animal that you want to be. In 8th grade, they're putting out books showing sexual positions that children can learn from. Why is it all of the sexualization of our children is going on?
Evil.
Well, they want to have sex with your children.
Yeah, it's awful.
They want to corrupt and pervert the children. Children are Christ bearers. And by the way, it's not 8th grade books. It's all the way down to kindergarten.
Oh, it's
with the blatant over-sexualization of the children. And in fact, I don't know if you know, but Oregon ruled that you didn't have to know how to read or do math to graduate high school. So what they've done is they convinced us that education was all academic. And so, butt out with your doctrine, your silly biblical doctrine. We don't want it. And we kind of went along with that. We said, well, I guess they know because they're the educators that it should all be academic. And now they're saying, oh, wait, it's not academics. It's actually about doctrine. And we want to indoctrinate your children. And we're standing on the sidelines going, but wait, I thought it was supposed to be academics.
Correct.
So let's just wise up and understand that education is about a lot more than academics. I'm not saying it's not academics, but it's not entirely academics. In fact, it's more importantly doctrine. And get back to basics with your kids. Keep them home. Bible's very clear, never says find a good school for your child. The only reason that you think that school is the answer is because they taught you to think that way.
Our founding fathers are homeschooled, by the way. And I'll tell you something, some of the best amazing gifts that came out of COVID were the fact that 2 million more homes now are homeschooling because they were brave enough to wake up to the fact that our public education system is pathetic.
Yes.
And they fought back right now.
That. I love that you see. So I've taught him well. No, I'm kidding. He doesn't say that it's broken, because it's not broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do, which is to
dumb you down
and infantilize them until they become slaves to the society. And that's what they're producing. They're producing consumers who have no discernment. Yes. And we have to stop that. You, as the parents, you need to stand in the breach. You need to protect your children.
What happened to actually rewarding kids for academic achievements? You know, you probably just saw on the news, I believe it was in Virginia, there were like a dozen or more schools that eliminated giving out merit awards for academics because they didn't want to hurt the poor feelings of Johnny this Johnny Dummy over here who didn't get one. I mean, I'm being facetious, but
trophies to everyone, please. You participated. That's good enough.
So you see the bait and switch. So they baited us. They said it's all academic, so butt out. And now they've switched it, and they're saying it's not academic. It's only doctrine. And so we have a war of worldviews.
Yes.
Their doctrine versus the truth, our doctrine. And so, you know, you have to stand in the breach. You have to tell your child their doctrine is wrong. They are mistaken. And it's very clear they're mistaken. And they know that they're mistaken. They just hate the truth so much.
Oh, yeah.
When parents speak out about how their children are being indoctrinated, they're being labeled as terrorists. I've never seen such absurdity.
Well, they love their labels. You know that. I mean, I'm a conservative and Christian in Hollywood. And so right away, oh, you're homophobic. I'm going, I've been in the business 40 years. I've had a gay person on pretty much every movie and TV show I've done. Find one that says I was horrible to them. They won't, but they love their label.
I mean, they find things wrong with, what was it, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? You're not supposed to be watching that movie anymore. They really go searching to try and be offended or find the sexual innuendo. Yes.
Well, they like to destroy.
Certainly. And they've done everything.
Enjoy destruction. In fact, I'm sorry. I just, I heard this the other day, and I think it's so fascinating. People like to do evil.
Yes.
If they can absolve themselves of the guilt and they say, well, this person told me to do it, then that's their comfort zone. So they want to do evil. They get an excuse to do evil. And the excuse these days is the leftist ideology gives them all the excuses that they need.
A lot of experts and child psychologists and things have said through the years that kids who are homeschooled tend to kind of get left behind, especially specifically socially with their development. What have you guys seen in that realm? I already know what your answer is going to be.
I've met a lot of homeschool kids, mine included. They're so much more social, and they're so much being more comfortable around adults. And our kids have been complimented from day one with homeschooling, saying your kids are great. They're getting off an airplane from flight attendants to waiters at restaurants. I mean, I think it's such a misnomer, and it's just a way to sort of just pretend that's a better way to go. Because why not just keep going to public schools where they can teach you how to hate the world and hate the country, indoctrinate you? When I was in school, I never had, from kindergarten through college, I never had anybody, any teacher or professor tell me to believe in God or not believe in God, tell me how to vote. That just didn't happen. Just the last 30 years, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And we're seeing the fruit of that with public school teachers now that grew up in that world and the craziness of what they're doing to our children. And I think it's child abuse. It's pretty much like having your 3-year-old wear a mask at the airport. I say child abuse as I walk by these parents.
And it's true.
I'll just say this. I was coaching somebody this morning who's considering homeschooling. And they said, well, what about the socialization? And I said, so here's the thing. In public school, they don't teach you how to prioritize because they don't want you to prioritize. So they teach you to make pros and cons lists when you want to make a decision. The pros and cons lists just invites chaos in. What you need to do is prioritize. And so if you want to talk about socialization, I would argue school is not the best place for a child to be social, to acquire social skills. What, from other kids? Are you kidding me? Like, that's ridiculous. But first and foremost, are we not trying to talk about education? And if school doesn't meet the standard for education, which it clearly doesn't, then why are we continuing this conversation?
Well, it's just to throw everything in a state of chaos. Thank you so much, Kevin and Sam Sorbo, for being on the program again. We invite you back to be on again because the indoctrination of our children cannot happen for this liberal leftist agenda. We need conservatism and patriotism and religion.
There's more information on sorbostudios.com, more information on everything she does with home education, everything we do together as a team, directing and acting and producing movies that make a difference.
And check out the movie.
leftbehindmovie.com, based off the 80 million best-selling Left Behind books.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the sequel to the one that came out 8 years ago with Nicolas Cage. I took over that role. I also directed as well. Sam's in it. Neil McDonald's in it. Corbin Burnson's in it. Greg Perot, Sarah Fisher. We got a great cast. So please check it out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Make sure you stay tuned. Coming up after the break, a story of recovery. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine Procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented the precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine Procedures, they consistently reflect 98.75% patient satisfaction. 75,000 procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Visit askbonati.com. Fred was a guest of the Bonati Spine Institute over 9 years ago. He's an active man that enjoys gardening and going to the gym.
I'm in real estate. I own several shopping centers. I buy properties and just doing like that. I used to be in a furniture business a long time ago. I used to import from Far East a lot of different furniture to US, and I sold it here. But I did that for around 10 years. I sold my business. I'm more in real estate business now. I was doing playing soccer before. You know, when you play soccer and you get hit, different players, you know, just at the end of the, you know, just the old age, you know, it come back to you, everything, all the problems.
Nearly a decade ago, Fred noticed an escalating pain in his lower back, making it increasingly difficult to walk and work.
I used to have a pain on my lower back, and I couldn't just really walk that much. Right there on my hip, you know, it just stayed there. But sometimes it had a very sharp pain, you know, just it comes and goes. In my business, I had to travel a lot to overseas, and it was difficult for me in the plane because with the pain. When I was sitting or standing up for a while, and the pain was there. When I was sitting, after standing up, when I was sitting, the pain was going down a little bit. And I had to take it easy. Sometimes I have to lay down, and the pain goes away because I didn't have no pressure on it. It was zero gravity when you lay down. And but I couldn't deal with it. Yeah, I could walk or stand up 10 or 15 minutes. I had to sit down after that. If I was standing for 15 minutes, I had to sit down. Or if I was walking, I had to do the same thing. I have to sit down just to let the pain go away.
Fred sought help from a chiropractor, but quickly came to the realization that the pain relief he got from those treatments didn't last.
First, I started with the chiropractic. You know, I went to a lot of chiropractor. Didn't work, didn't do the job. They give me some device, you know, just to put on your back and just pump it. Those didn't work, you know, because if the problem is physical, you have physical problem, you have to go take care of that. It wasn't just like a muscle, you know, just inflation of the muscles or anything else.
Fred learned about the Bonati Spine Institute from a friend and started doing his research.
He's a very good doctor, but I researched myself about him. I read a lot about it, and I find out he's a very skilled doctor, very professional. He knows what he's doing.
Based on what he learned, Fred decided to schedule an appointment for an in-person evaluation. During that examination, he had updated X-rays and MRIs performed at the on-campus imaging center.
I had my imaging, but I had to take it there too. And I saw Dr. Bonati because it was just like I went to him straight.
Later that same day, Dr. Bonati met with Fred to review his images and outline a surgical plan which included 2 targeted Bonati spine procedures at the L4, L5, and L5S1 areas in his lumbar spine.
He was showing me just where is the problem on lumbar 4 and 5, and my disc was bad in that area. And also he said you might have another surgery on L5S1, and I did. And he just looked at it, he said I need those 2 surgery, and I just took those surgery with him. Before I do some things, myself, I just do a lot of researching myself. I trust myself first with my own knowledge. But when I went to him, he had super knowledge on that field, and just he educated me. He said, just this is the thing you're gonna do. And I listened to him, and that was a great advice from him.
The exclusive Bonati Spine procedures are performed incrementally using conscious IV sedation. This technique allows the patient to remain awake and communicating with the surgeon, ensuring their source of pain is eliminated before they leave the operating table.
I was awake. I was looking at the monitor myself too to see what is he doing, but it wasn't that bad. And just he was talking to me during the surgery, and it took probably like a half an hour, something like that. He knew what is he doing, the back surgery, you just don't give your back to any doctor. You have to give your back to the doctor. He knows what is he doing. And you don't find too many doctors, surgeons like him. And I feel so good. I really feel so good.
An additional benefit to the Bonati Spine procedures is they dramatically reduce the risk of infection and blood loss, and it allows for the body to recover faster because the incisions are smaller than those of traditional open back surgery. Because of this, Bonati guests are often surprised that they can return back to work in their normal routines in just a matter of days.
First surgery was good. I just had some relief, but I had the second issue because with L5-S1, that has to be done too. That's the reason I went for second surgery. After second surgery, I really feel good. After surgery, I had for a couple of days, just wasn't 100%, just because, after surgery. Actually, I went back to work probably the next day after that, After that, I went back to my normal life and to gym, just did slowly exercise on my back area because I didn't want to hurt myself. But I went back to normal.
Following surgery at the Bonati Spine Institute, guests are instructed to walk at least a few minutes every day to aid their bodies in the healing process.
And after that point, I was fine. He did like a miracle, for me. I felt good. I really felt good.
The Bonati Spine procedures offer lasting relief, allowing the body to retain its natural mobility and flexibility.
It's been around 9 years, and I really I love going outside to gardening. I just love nature. And before I couldn't bend over just to pick up some weeds or do something, but now I feel really good.
Now, 9 years later, Fred is still living pain-free and highly recommends anyone suffering from neck or back pain to contact the Bonati Spine Institute.
When I advise anybody is having this problem, just go for it. Just don't hesitate. Because if you lose your quality life, it's hard to survive, if I cannot go to gym, five times a week, if I cannot travel, I cannot go here, there, I don't have my quality life, I want to thank Dr. Bonati, and God bless him.
I think everybody was shocked, really, you had surgery today? I had a drain tube. I was at my desk doing payroll for 200 employees, worked till night, got up, went to bed.
Actually, the recovery was great. I really immediately felt the difference. I was able to go back to work within a couple of days.
The progress after each procedure was amazingly good. The recovery, all told, has been phenomenal.
We went to the Bonati Institute, and that was the turning point in my life. The recovery time is so much less that it's just a no-brainer. If you've got pain, go to Bonati.
This is the honest to God truth. And was recovering, I didn't feel anything. The pain that I was suffering is gone. I can go back to work in 3 days.
The surgeries that I had, actually, I recovered very easily from, I would say. I actually went to work the following afternoon.
That afternoon, when it was done, I actually felt so much better already.
6 days after surgery, I was back in the gym, slowly but surely working my way back to fighting, back to basically 100% of fighting. So 6 days, and everybody was in awe. Didn't you just get out of surgery? I'm yeah, I feel great. And okay, let's see how you do. And I was rolling with everybody, and I'm in the advanced class. So that sounds a lot right there.
First time I came in here was Monday, and today is Thursday. I've had 2 surgeries and am doing fantastic. I'm still in shock that I can walk. That's all within 4 days.
Bonati succeeds where others fail. Welcome back to American Medicine Today. So there seems to be a lot of hot topic scandals in the media lately, several of which are turning focus on the first family, from Biden's missing documents to Hunter Biden's laptop. So tell us what the left is up to, Doc.
The situation that I see here is something that I am very, very, very concerned the people that we elect as our representatives. The fact that the left side can act against the law, against the regulations, against the Constitution, and still obtain results that they are scary for the opposite group, and allowed this group to be in panic and be retracted to be able to talk, defend the rights, and protect the rights of the citizens in this country. And that is because the people that we elect are weak, they are lazy, they are old, or they just don't care. I am very, very, very happy to see that 20 individuals of that group, they stood up to stop the election of the representative of the Congress for the House. And they forced the situation to obtain the benefits that they were necessary to be able to elect the right speaker.
Correct.
But the problem is, how many? 20? What happened with the other group? Why the other group never react?
Well, because they're Washington cronies. They're used to having all the power, and
part of the problem.
They don't want to give it up.
But the problem is that we know that. They know that. We keep electing mediocre people, and we keep electing the same people that doesn't have any effective behavior. We need to be individuals that we do not tolerate any mistake from the left. And once something like that happens, we need to be able to put it in a certain way that there are repercussions, as the same repercussions that our group has.
How does that work to affect what's going on with Hunter Biden's laptop? I mean, we know the FBI was complicit in the cover-up.
What it is in that laptop. I know it's a lot of crap there.
Pornography,
but did we ever know?
Yeah.
Did we ever know what it is? I never heard anything about.
Oh, they talked about child porn, all different things that Rudy Giuliani
those
spoke
are
about.
Exaggerations. I want facts that they are clearly placed there, that we can read and we can understand. Nothing like that is exposed in the media because the media is corrupted. Donald Trump always talk about the enemy of the public. Well, the enemy of the country is the media. We need to also change our representatives to individuals that they are stronger. In the House, nothing is happening with the documents that we keep finding every day in different parts of the House or offices or locations. And the funny thing on this is are being found by lawyers.
Right, and the lawyers are the ones that can pick them up.
The lawyers are telling us the finding. The problem that I see here, they may found one document that is absolutely damaging. Do you think that the lawyers are going to present that document? Of course not. That document is going to be destroyed. It's going to disappear because there's no way to be accountable to that.
But if these are high security documents that need to be protected, they were out in the open when they were found. Nobody went alongside the lawyers to make sure everything was handled properly.
No, the lawyers, they shouldn't be.
Correct.
There was not any lawyer in the house of Trump. Nobody except law enforcement who walked there and trashed the house. They put some of these documents on the floor. I never see any document of Biden on the floor showing that those documents were important. I don't care what Biden does. I do care that we do not have a representation of individuals that they are strong enough to make the same action. Those 20 people that they faced that one, they did, but that's the only thing that I see. I don't see law enforcement getting on Biden's house and trashing the whole house and finding documents and taking possession of those documents. Lawyers are taking possession of those documents.
Yes.
If you're telling me that the lawyers that represent Biden are going to take the documents, I promise you the documents that they are compromising is a document that never will show the light.
Was it from 60 Minutes when Biden's out cruising around in his Corvette, and then as he's backing in, they made a still of that shot, and you can see just boxes and stacks of documents in the back, which Biden said infamously, oh, they were in a locked garage next to my Corvette.
This is something that you can have somebody in the media who present that. The problem is, where is the law enforcement on equal behavior on both sides and being able to represent the citizens that they are going to be affected by a bad government? So why no action about all this? And is totally the individuals that they represent, the conservative group, they are lazy, very comfortable. They're receiving money and perks, but they're not doing their job.
I don't know that they're lazy. They're complicit. They have an agenda, and it's for me, not for thee. It's do as I say, not as I do. And until we can wipe that out in Washington, I don't know what's going to happen to our country.
The most important thing here is we need to get term limits.
Yes.
If we do get term limits, this situation will be under control.
But unfortunately, term limits have to be voted upon, and they're never going to vote themselves out.
Well, the population should demand that. If the representatives don't do it, the population should demand that.
We should. Who knows if it'll ever happen. Thank you for watching American Medicine Today. We'll be back next week, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on Newsmax. Check us out anytime on the iHeartRadio app, keyword AMT. If you have any comments or questions, contact us at the number below. You can tweet at Dr. Bonati using hashtag American Medicine Today or hashtag AMT. We would like to hear from you.